and welcome. You're watching the News Hour Agenda. I am Padmaja Joshi. There cannot be a greater shame for us because in 2 days from now, on Thursday, the Indian Medical Association, which is the representative body of doctors in our country, has decided to observe a Black Day. Why? Because of repeated attacks on doctors and healthcare professionals. And things truly plumbed to a new depth. They went to a new depth when yesterday we had the most shameful images come to us from Chennai. A doctor who also ran a hospital, a New Hope hospital in Chennai, passed away on Sunday evening. His family went to 2 different burial grounds, 2 different cemeteries in the cosmopolitan city of Chennai, and they were met with violent resistance. The ambulance, which was carrying the doctor's mortal remains, was even attacked outside one cemetery by locals. Why? Because they were scared that if he was to be buried close to their house, they would run the risk of infection. Now people have been arrested for this shameful attack. But that is not the point. The point even now remains, what really has happened to us? How did things come to such a pass that our own paranoia somehow has killed off the last traces of humanity in us? Have we become so paranoid and desensitized that we would not even accord dignity in death to a man who we were applauding just 20 days ago? When you stood on your balcony and you lit a diya for our frontline workers, did you at any point think that that same doctor, that same healthcare professional would need one day basic show of humanity from you?
அந்த சம்பவத்தை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் 21 குற்றவாளிகள் கைது செய்யப்பட்டு சிறைக்கு அனுப்பப்பட்டிருக்கிறார்கள். அதில் சம்பந்தப்பட்ட மற்ற குற்றவாளிகளும் தேடிக்கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். அதில் சம்பந்தப்பட்ட குற்றவாளிகள் மீது குண்டர் சட்டத்திலும் அவர்கள் மீது நடவடிக்கை எடுக்கப்படும். இந்த மாதிரி மக்களுக்கு சொல்வதெல்லாம் நம்ம உலக சுகாதார நிறுவனத்தின் வழிகாட்டுதல் படியே நம்ம கார்ப்பரேஷனும் நம்ம ஹெல்த் டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்டும் அந்த அடக்கத்தை செய்கிறாங்க. பல மருத்துவர்கள் நிபுணர்கள் சொல்லிட்டாங்க, அதில் எந்த பாதிப்பும் இல்லை, அதுலேருந்து தொற்றுநோய் வர்றதுக்கு எந்த பாதிப்பும் இல்லைன்னு தெளிவாக சொல்லிட்டாங்க. அதுக்கு மீறியும் இந்த மாதிரி செஞ்சாங்கன்னா மிக மிக கடுமையாக நடவடிக்கை எடுப்போம். இதில் எந்த தயவு தாட்சணையும் பார்க்கணும்.
The Chief Minister has condemned it. The police has condemned it. Another 20 people have been arrested today as well. And in all likelihood, all of them are going to be booked under the Gundas Act. But will we ever be able to look at ourselves in the mirror thinking that a man who spent the last few hours of his life serving those who were suffering from COVID-19 would one day be treated like this, where his friends would have to give him a furtive burial in the middle of the night, shoveling in dirt with their bare hands, because even the ambulance drivers who were carrying his mortal remains were beaten so badly that they had to be sent away to hospitals. One thing I want to tell all of our viewers, this is happening. This paranoia is because of a sheer misinformation campaign. There are guidelines that have been issued by the World Health Organization, that have been issued by the Municipal Corporation of Mumbai, that have been issued by our own health ministry, that say very clearly that it's absolutely safe to bury or cremate someone who was suffering, someone who passed away from COVID-19. All that needs to be done is to ensure that basic precautions are taken, that the mortal remains are kept in a waterproof plastic body bag, that the graveyard is far enough from any human habitation, that the grave is deep enough to ensure that there is no escape of bodily fluids. Just some basic precautions need to be taken. Should we as citizens not be ensuring that this is done, those precautions are taken, instead of engaging in this behavior which is frankly worse than those of animals? If anyone watching this right now would have seen the family and friends of Dr. Simon yesterday, your heart would have broken. And a friend of Dr. Simon, Dr. Pradeep, who was with him at that time, is joining us live. Dr. Pradeep, why do you think it is important for you to speak? What is it that makes you speak about your anguish today?
Ma'am, I've been talking to all the channels. Those ever who have been asking me, I've never been denying anything at all. I'm not been saying no to anybody. The reason is only one thing, madam. I don't want this to happen to anybody at all. Ever, even to the worst of my enemies. They shouldn't undergo something which I have underwent yesterday, day before yesterday. It was such a worst situation, madam, where I had to bury my own colleague, my own friend, the man whom we respect the most, with my own hands, and literally run for our lives with the fear of getting beaten or sometimes even beaten to death. If not for the police people who stood there, definitely I'll tell you what, we would have lost a life or two. Definitely the situation would have been entirely different. I owe it to the police. Definitely they are the ones who made sure at least I was able to do that much which I did, stood there. But the problem was the people never understood what exactly it is. I mean, what exactly the COVID-19 is. The problem was they don't even know it doesn't spread to them through the dead body. It is like it is such a fragile virus, madam. It's a very fragile virus that you wash your hands with soap, it dies. Such a fragile virus stays, it can live in a dead body for at least 2 to 3 hours. That's it, maximum. After 2 to 3 hours, there is no chance of it being alive in that body. Then how can it spread from there? And having said that, we are anyways digging at least around 10 to 12 feet deep. You know, the graves are there, and the burial is deep burials. So there is no chance of virus coming out of nowhere at all. And even the body is wrapped around him, Dr. Simon. The body is wrapped around Dr. Simon, was wrapped around with a thick sheets of plastic baggage, and which is very thick, and there is no chance of virus coming out of those packets of baggage at all. So I don't understand. I mean, definitely there has been a lot of miscommunication among the crowd and the misunderstandings among the crowd, and definitely, yeah, it is our duty and responsibility to make them understand that it doesn't spread through dead bodies at all.
Being a doctor yourself, you've seen a lot of human suffering, I would assume, and fear, human insecurities. Did you ever expect this kind of a reaction from people of your city?
Ma'am, I frankly speaking, I don't know what I saw yesterday. I still can't come to terms with what had happened the day before yesterday. I can't really, because the man who was serving the society, he was for the people, literally hard working, always there for the people. He was denied a proper send off. He didn't deserve that at all. He was such a great man. He was a very nice doctor, very brilliant doctor, and such a hard working gentleman. And when he was attacked, and his mortal remains were, the people like pelting stones at the ambulance, and you can see his body inside the ambulance covered with the broken glass pieces, and the ambulance drivers bled all over the ambulance. The situation was really worse. I can't even think about that situation in my eyes now. It's flashing again and again in my eyes that it has been very, very difficult for me to go through such a thing at all. I don't know whether I'll be able to come out of this my whole life.
But what drove this reaction? Were they scared? Were they shouting something? Did you try and reason with them?
We actually, reasoning was not the question. I mean, there was no chance of reasoning out with them at all, madam. They were very violent, first thing. And the reason for their violence would be definitely they were all angry and they were all scared. They were scared because they were afraid that the virus would be, they would come in contact with the virus. They may get infected because of the virus. That was the fear which they had, because when they came here, they had only one thing to say to us: take the body, run away. You are not supposed to bury a corona body here. He is a doctor or not, that was a secondary thing for them. But they didn't want a corona body to be buried there at all. And literally they saw the PPEs being worn, and so they understood it. Those people are all burying a corona body. That is what they're like. They started pelting stones and hitting everybody. The health inspectors tried to reason it out to them. They were in no position to listen. Two health inspectors got injured very badly. Sanitary workers injured very badly, that they had to literally run for their lives out of the crematorium. And so did both of the ambulance drivers, where they had to literally run for their lives by taking Dr. Simon's body back into the ambulance, and literally they had to run for their lives from there, where I had already been running away from that place. It was very difficult for us, madam.
Dr. Pradeep, there are scores of people who have now been arrested by the government, but it was a big mob. Maybe there are some of them still out there. And this was a respectable society, respectable area, two of these places where you were boycotted. If any of those people who stopped you are watching you right now, what will you tell them? Are you angry? Are you betrayed? What do you feel?
Madam, not just me. Any doctor, you ask any doctor, if you want to fight with him personally, he'll be fighting with you. But the moment you go to any doctor for treatment, the doctor would treat you so well. Trust me, that is what doctors are. Every doctor would do that to you. That is what every doctor
Dr.
would
Pradeep,
do.
you stuck.
If they are listening to me, if the people are listening to me, and if the people are listening to me, I just want to convey only one thing to them. Please, we doctors are there to only help you out, to serve you. We are doing our best. We are as much scared as you are. We all are. Corona is an invisible enemy, not just to you, to even to our eyes. It is an invisible enemy. We cannot see him or her or whatever it is. We have to face it, and the reality is we can't let this win over us. We are in a war. Please support us in the war. We are the frontline soldiers. We are ready to die for you. It's okay. But we want you to live. Please help us.
Dr. Pradeep, you stood by your friend till the very end, ensuring despite the threats, despite the violence, that you finally laid him to rest. We're really sorry. I am really sorry that you had to go through this, that Dr. Simon had to go through this, and that his family had to see something like this. And to anyone in Chennai who was a part of that mob, and if you're still watching this, Dr. Pradeep, Dr. Simon's wife, his daughter, they're all doctors, they're still in your city. God forbid tomorrow you have to visit any one of them. Will you be able to look them in the eye? Shame on all of us. Thank you very much, Dr. Pradeep, and I'm truly sorry for your loss.
Thank you, madam.
And if you're not still ashamed of what happened, at least there should be a fair bit of fear, because karma has a way of catching up with people. And I say that only because remember Muradabad, where you'd seen those horrific images of an ambulance, of doctors, of the police being pelted with stones inside one of the localities where one person had tested positive and had died of coronavirus. Well, 10 people were arrested after that murderous attack on doctors, and now 5 of them have tested positive. 5 of them are positive of COVID-19. And you know what the irony is? Is that those very doctors who were beaten up by these stone pelters are now going to be treating them now that they have tested positive for COVID-19.
कई 10 व्यक्ति जिसमें 8 जेंट्स थे और 2 लेडीज थी गिरफ्तार किए गए थे। तो 11 सैंपल गए थे, उसमें 6 पॉजिटिव।
तो सर क्या नागफनी थाना पूरा का पूरा क्वारंटाइन किया जाएगा?
अब उस पर हमारे सर्वेलेंस ऑफिसर जाके सर्वेलेंस करेंगे, देखेंगे कौन कौन संपर्क में आया है, उस हिसाब से निर्णय लिया जाएगा।
कुछ थाना सिविलियन के भी हैं,
सभी का।
Every time we tell you such stories about how members of the Tabligh Jamaat or their associates or their secondary contacts are attacking Corona warriors, healthcare professionals, it's said that this is nothing more than an attempt to try and spread Islamophobia. Now, anyone who is talking about Islamophobia, who thinks that the Tabligh Jamaat is being made into a scapegoat, a fall guy, that this is only because people hate Muslims, should actually listen to this gentleman in Muzaffarnagar.
कि हिंदुस्तान से कोरोना को भगाना है और ये भी हमने मानी है कि प्रशासन की हम सब पर बड़ी मेहरबानी है और ये भी हमें जिताना है कि हिंदुस्तान से कोरोना को भगाना है। ना ही हम ईरानी हैं ना अफगानी हैं, बल्कि हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं और हिंदुस्तानियों को कोरोना को भगाना है और कोरोना को भगाना है, कोरोना को भगाना है। हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद, हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद।
You know who this elderly gentleman is? He also is a member of Tabligh Jamaat. He also visited the Nizamuddin Markaz in Delhi in early March. After that, he travelled to Muzaffarnagar in Uttar Pradesh. He doesn't even belong to the state. But there he was kept in quarantine along with others from his organization. Today, when he tested negative for the virus, he was released, and this is what he said. He was applauded by the doctors who had treated him, and this is what he had to say about the treatment he received and what he thinks about the country that he lives in.
कि हिंदुस्तान से कोरोना को भगाना है और ये भी हमने मानी है कि प्रशासन की हम सब पर बड़ी मेहरबानी है और ये भी हमें जिताना है कि हिंदुस्तान से कोरोना को भगाना है। ना ही हम ईरानी हैं ना अफगानी हैं, बल्कि हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं और हिंदुस्तानियों को कोरोना को भगाना है और कोरोना को भगाना है, कोरोना को भगाना है। हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद, हिंदुस्तान जिंदाबाद।
Nothing more needs to be said. Everyone who had said that calling the Tabligh Jamaat Markaz a super spreader is signs of Islamophobia has been answered by this one gentleman. It's not about a community. It's about the crime. Yes, original participation in that Delhi Markaz might have been a mistake, but anyone who even now continues to hide, continues to not disclose their travel history, continues to not step forward, and worse, who beats up doctors like what we saw in Moradabad, like what we saw in Bengaluru day before yesterday, they are criminals. They do not stand for any community at all. In fact, this gentleman, he stands for the community. Because if you follow the rules, when you are a citizen, you will be respected, treated, welcomed. When you engage in criminal acts, that is how you will be treated. The people that you saw in Moradabad are criminals. Those you saw in Bengaluru are criminals, and they will be treated like that. And also criminal are those people who today in Prayagraj were sent into police custody. Do you know why? Because they too, instead of stepping forward, had actually hidden in mosques. Among the people who have been arrested today in Allahabad, unfortunately, is a professor of the Allahabad University. He went to Delhi in March, then came back and resumed his duties in the university. How many students could he have endangered simply by this one reckless act? There are other 13 people who have been arrested because they gave shelter to these members of the Tabligh Jamaat who were trying to hide their travel history. Would you not call them criminals? Or would calling them criminals then be discriminatory?
अभी भी बहुत सारे जमाती जो निजामुद्दीन मरकज़ में सम्मिलित हुए थे, इस बात की संभावना है कि वो अपने को छिपाए हुए हैं और सामने नहीं आ रहे हैं। वो अपने लिए तो खतरा है ही, अपने परिवार के लिए भी खतरा है और पूरे समाज के लिए खतरा है। तो हम लोग जनता के लोगों से अपील कर रहे हैं कि ऐसे लोगों के बारे में यदि उनको कोई जानकारी हो तो पुलिस को सूचना दें। उनके नाम गोपनीय रखे जाएंगे और उनको 10,000 रुपये का इसमें पुरस्कार भी दिया जाएगा।
You're watching the News Hour at 10. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the News Hour agenda, Sudesh Verma, spokesperson of the BJP, political analyst MC Abbas, and spokesperson of the Tabligh Jamaat, Shahid Ali. Shahid Ali साहब, आपने देखा मुजफ्फरनगर में तबलीग जमात के ही थे वो जेंटलमैन, और उन्होंने साफ साफ बोला कि हमें इस देश पर नाज है, हमें we are thankful of the way in which we have been treated. Now what would you say to people who are attending to this gentleman and others like him?
First of all, I would like to make it clear that the people, those who attack doctors in Muradabad or anywhere else, in Bangalore or wherever else, you people, I mean the media, is wrongly associating themselves with Tabligh Jamaat. Whosoever is doing any mischief, any criminal act, cannot be said to be the member of Tabligh Jamaat, and in fact they are not. In fact, they are not the member of Tabligh Jamaat.
Sir, I'm not associating.
At all
It is a known
any
fact
member of Tabligh Jamaat.
that they contracted the virus
No, in
from
fact,
a meeting of the Tabligh Jamaat in Delhi.
When the report was being
Where is the
produced
mistake?
by your media, madam, when the report
Yes.
when the report was being played, this was mentioned that they are also associated either directly or indirectly with Tabligh Jamaat. Therefore, my objection is
Yes.
that they are not. Repeatedly, we have been saying, please do not take law in their
How do you
in
know
your
they are
own
not?
hand. Repeatedly,
I am
Tabligh
telling
Jamaat
you
is
for a
making
fact,
request.
sir,
We have
that
also
they
been
are.
making request.
Mr. Shahid Ali, how can you say they are not
They are
associated?
not the member of Tabligh Jamaat. Not, madam, they are not
Then
at all
what were they
associated. If you
doing
have
at
anything
Nizamuddin in March?
in your hand to associate themselves, madam,
Yes,
the members,
that
the
they were
people,
there
those who have
at
been
the
arrested in
Nizamuddin
Muradabad,
meeting.
those who attacked the warriors, those who attacked the COVID-19 warriors, are not associated in any manner with Tabligh Jamaat. If
They
you
are.
have any evidence to that
They
effect,
are.
please show to us. They are not. In fact,
I am
that's
telling
why
you.
we are saying no.
We
they are
have
not.
the police,
Absolutely,
sir.
they are not. The
We
women
have the
are,
police
the
saying
women are
on
pelting
record
stones.
that this
Madam,
gentleman
see,
in
madam, see,
Moradabad passed
the
away
teachings
after
of
getting the
Tabligh
virus.
Jamaat.
He and his brother had travelled to Nizamuddin in March, and that is where they got infected. Now let us not please try and go back in history and keep repeating the same arguments. My question today to you is different. You've got two sets of people. One who follows the law,
I am
one who
talking
breaks the law.
about the person,
And
those
to
who
call out
pelted
those who
stones.
break the law
We are
cannot be
against
called
those-
Islamophobia.
We are against those people, those who have been pelting stones or any other or in any other manner taking law in their own hands. The law is supreme and law has to be respected. In fact, the COVID warriors should be respected. And these acts of violence are not only the criminal act, but I should say that these are the ghastly acts. I will not hesitate to say that these are the ghastly acts.
So tell
And
me, sir,
these criminals
you
should
are
not be
saying
spared
those
at
who
all.
engage in
We
violence
have
should
been
not be linked to the
requesting-
Tabligh.
We have been requesting.
Why is it that members of Tabligh are not stepping forward? I just
Those-
give you an example from Prayagraj, where you had foreign members of the
Madam.
Tabligh from Indonesia and from other foreign countries who deliberately hid inside mosques. 13 people were arrested for hiding them. Now tell me, will you say they are also not associated?
Madam, truth will come out soon. Let the investigations are completed. This is an allegation by you.
Sir, truth
but
will
what
come
we
out,
are
but those who are
requesting you
hiding,
people,
when will
please
they
wait
come
for
out?
the time being. Let the investigations completed.
I am giving you examples of how over
Madam,
the
we have
last
been
1
requesting
month,
peoples,
almost
we have been
19 to
requesting-
25 raids have happened
have
across
been
the country
requesting
where
peoples-
members of the Tabligh have been found
Please,
hiding.
will you
Why
please
would
try
they
to
hide,
understand?
sir?
Will you
Is
please
hiding
try
not
to
a criminal
appreciate
act?
one thing, that we have repeatedly been requesting all members of Tabligh Jamaat to come out to approach doctors, and today an appeal has also been made that those who have been cured, please donate your plasma. Please contact doctors
Sir,
and donate
with
your
due
plasma
respect,
so that the other needy patients will be
why
treated,
should
may be
anyone
cured.
who's a member of Tabligh Jamaat step forward when your own chief is hiding? If I was a member of the Tabligh Jamaat, I would say आप हमें तो आप पाठ पढ़ा रहे हैं, पहले खुद तो सामने आ जाइए। आप दूसरों को जो नसीहत दे रहे हैं, खुद मौलाना साहब तो उसको सुन नहीं रहे हैं, औरों को बता रहे हैं। But Sudesh Verma, this is rich that even today, when you call out those who are engaging in criminal acts, you are branded as an Islamophobe. I cannot see a bigger tragedy.
Once he is responding,
Padmaja, the country cannot live in denial mode. And you know, quite possible that some people were ignorant. In their blind faith, they thought that religion will protect them because this is what they have been taught. But even if you indulge in an act which is criminal and you are ignorant of the law, there is no excuse. The ignorance of law is no excuse. If you commit murder and you say that you are not aware that murder entails a punishment, then you would not be safe just because you do not know the law. So if you are committing an act that indulges in crime, you will face the music. Now coming, why should we deny it? Markaz does not represent the minority community. There are a handful of people. Why people are defending them? It's not about whole Muslim. Muslims are by and large law-abiding citizens. I have many friends who are, in their rooms locked, but there is no problem. But some people who are trying to create.
And the example is the gentleman in Muzaffarnagar. It is quite clear. Anyone who listens to that gentleman cannot be left in any doubt, MC Abbas. So why should you defend what happened in your city of Bengaluru? Those people don't stand for any community. They're just hooligans.
Anyone attacking the COVID warriors, doctors is highly condemnable. They should not, irrespective of their religion, they need to be dealt with the harshest punishment. They need to be locked up in the jail and never let out. Second point I'm trying to make here is with respect to Islamophobes. Yes, definitely, Padmaja, I wish I shall WhatsApp you this video where a man has been arrested who asked a vegetable vendor in a society, are you a Muslim? Once he learned he's a Muslim, he beat him up. This has happened time and again. There has been a lot of fake news doing the rounds, saying that coronavirus, corona.
Sir, did you say he's been arrested?
Is it right?
Did you say he's been arrested?
Is that right?
Not correct.
Did you say he's been arrested?
Isn't it Islamophobia?
He should be arrested.
Not correct.
But nobody will defend him. Nobody will defend him, sir.
So, ma'am,
and say that arresting him is Hindu-phobia or whatever other phobia. He is a lout and a lumpen and he deserves to be behind bars.
When you call,
but nobody will defend him saying, oh, poor guy, he just beat up a poor vegetable vendor. Why has he been put behind bars?
And beat them up is wrong. This is Islamophobia and this has been happening time and again.
And which is why he's in jail. Where's the phobia?
No,
of course it is a phobia.
He's a criminal.
Not allowing a vegetable vendor because he's a Muslim is a phobia. It is, of course, Islamophobia.
And which is why he's in jail.
News about Muslims,
which is why he's in jail.
Fake news
Sudesh Verma.
Tablighi Jamaat, that is phobia.
Padmaja, you see.
Who's spreading fake news? Just a second. Who's spreading fake news?
Abbas, you have to look within.
Diamond, dozen people I have a list of
few individuals
where fake news has been spread with respect to Tablighi Jamaat.
Do you know that in London, 2 Muslims who are running a restaurant, they are found to be mixing their feces in the food, and they've been punished for 4 months and fined 25,000 pounds. Great Britain, these are facts. So if some people decide to boycott, that doesn't become Islamophobia. You have to look into yourself also. If people ask for your Aadhaar card, you should give your Aadhaar card, isn't it? If you are spreading coronavirus, then people will boycott you.
Like you
Don't say you are being boycotted because you are Islamic. Here is a doctor who was not given a burial because people suspected that he will spread corona.
There are people who are
but there is nothing called phobia there. This is the narrative created by Arundhati Roy, who has an act to crimes against the Indian establishment. So why is he speaking that? And then continuing with the narrative.
Wrongly, differently is wrong. So therefore, those who are spreading this fear, rumor mongering, fake news is not allowed.
So we all condemn it. So where is the phobia? Why is the entire...
I don't even want to go to authors. They are entitled to their own opinion. They can write op-ed columns. More power to them. The only thing that matters is what people in the country think. And I think the most definitive answer has been given not by anyone on this panel, but for me it has been given by this one gentleman from Muzaffarnagar. He has said what every law-abiding citizen of this country thinks today. I'm just going to leave it on that note. Thank you very much, all gentlemen, for having joined me on the News Hour Agenda.